Ethan was still on the couch, swirling the last bit of wine in his glass when I asked him quietly, "Stay right here a moment?" I didn't explain. I didn't have to. His body stilled, his gaze lowered, and the air around us shifted like it already knew something was coming. The hallway stretched long and quiet as I moved toward the front door. The old wooden floors creaked under my steps, softened by the hallway runner I'd laid down last winter. I opened the door slowly, and there she was. Maya didn't wait for an invitation. She stepped inside with a soft click of her boots, her coat hanging loose around her like it barely belonged. Her eyes found mine, and she nodded, not with surprise, but understanding. Like she'd known this night was waiting, like she'd timed her arrival with the rhythm of something unspoken. We didn't say anything. There was no need. I helped her with her coat, hanging it on the hook by the radiator. She glanced briefly toward the living room, but didn't enter. Not yet. Ethan hadn't moved. He sat forward slightly now, elbows on knees, glass resting loose between his fingers. I stepped behind him, placed my palms lightly on his shoulders, thumbs brushing across the fabric of his sweater. "Stay right here," I repeated softly. He nodded once. I moved away, the distance intentional. When I returned to the hallway, Maya was standing where I'd left her, calm, poised. She gave me a faint smile, no nervousness, just a quiet patience. I gestured slightly with my hand, and she followed me in. She didn't approach him right away. Instead, she circled behind the couch, her fingertips tracing the fabric along the top. Ethan remained still, his posture quiet but awake, like he was listening with his skin. Maya came to my side, her presence warm and steady. She leaned in, letting her temple lightly brush against mine. No kiss, no question, just contact. I reached out and rested my hand gently on Ethan's arm. He shifted slightly at my touch, not startled, just attentive. Maya lowered herself to the rug in front of us, moving with grace, folding her legs beneath her. She looked up at Ethan with a calm expression, her face relaxed, her eyes clear. She extended her hand, not reaching, just offering. It took a moment, but he placed his fingers over hers, slowly. No rush, no resistance. I reached for his other hand and rested it near me on the cushion. He was held now, not trapped, but balanced between two quiet presences. Maya interlaced her fingers with his. He met her gaze, and for the first time, he smiled, just slightly, just enough to break the stillness. She didn't speak. Instead, she removed her earrings, placing them gently on the side table. Her movements were slow, deliberate, then smoothing. The front of her blouse, she adjusted a sleeve near her wrist. Her eyes never left his. I watched his breath shift barely, but noticeably. I knew that rhythm. I'd lived beside it for years. Tonight, it felt different. She leaned in, not to kiss, not to press, just to share the space. Her forehead touched his gently, and then she turned her face toward me. Our foreheads met again. A quieter moment this time, closer, familiar. Ethan's eyes were closed now. She turned back to him, her hand resting on his chest. I placed my hand beside hers, and for a long while, we stayed just like that, present, still. No instructions. Number. Script. She leaned back just slightly and settled beside him, her shoulder brushing his softly. He opened his eyes and looked at both of us. There was wonder there, but no confusion. He reached for her hand again. This time, he didn't hesitate. I leaned into his other side, my head lightly resting against his shoulder. The warmth between us wasn't from movement, it was from being known. Fully, quietly. No one spoke. Maya rested her forehead against his one last time. Then she looked at me. I nodded once, slowly. He let out a breath. Nothing more needed to happen. Nothing more needed to be said. We simply sat there, the three of us held in a moment that didn't demand anything but presence. The kind of silence that speaks for itself, and he never asked me why I opened the door.